Hi, welcome back to Analytical Media. We are a consortium, group of therapists, college professors, and well-published, peer-reviewed authors. Today we will be discussing Lorenz F. Kraus, 53, a U.S. citizen from Albany, New York, who is also a murderer who admitted to killing both of his parents, and politically, he is a sovereign citizen. We're going to go over the 2-page document that he left. Many people have described it as a manifesto, but it certainly is not a manifesto. It's no theoretical document. It's no explanation. It's basically an attempt to escape the punishment for what he's done, for the murders of his parents. And we'll talk about that. You will hear people describe him as being a genius, as being someone who graduated as valedictorian, etc., an engineer, and he describes himself as being a genius, incredibly intelligent, supposedly, according to him. He solved problems that philosophers could not solve. He's proposed a new form of government, which is based on sovereign citizen rhetoric. We'll go over all that. I'll give you just a little background. He ran for political office basically as a white supremacist and a hater of Jews. He promoted fringe, explicitly anti-Semitic views and conspiracy theories. Lorenz ran a website called Ban Jews. Now here's what happened. His parents were retired. His father had had cataract surgery and wasn't able to drive his car. His mother fell down crossing a street, producing a yellowish bruise on her face. And so these baby boomers, his mother and father, were a problem. And he said it's going to be a problem for everybody else who has baby boomer parents because they're getting too old. They're not enjoying life anymore. If you can't drive a car, why should you live? If you fall down and you get a bruise, why should you live? What reason do you have to be alive? Do you think it's okay to get up and walk away after you fall down? You can't live with a bruise. It's obvious. You don't want to have a bruise. Better to be dead, according to this man. And so he murders his parents, who more or less asked for it. He said they implicitly asked for it, not explicitly. Implicitly, they asked for it. They were asking him to murder them, or so he says. And he did murder them. He killed them both by some type of asphyxiation, whether by pillow. He claimed he did his mother by pillow. Later he said it was with a rope. The man is not to be believed. Obviously, he changed his mind. You can watch the interview that he sent a 2-page document to a bunch of TV stations. One of them called him in and they did an interview with him, and you can watch the whole interview where he wants to protect his Fifth Amendment rights by not admitting he killed them explicitly, but he admits he buried them, and he implies heavily that he killed them. Later in the interview, he admits to killing them. He gives up his Fifth Amendment rights, I guess. He got arrested after he left the television station, just made it out to the parking lot, and of course he left this whole long document, video document, testimony. Now, he went to his parents' house and killed them both by his own admission, buried them in their backyard, and went back every month to check on the house and to check on the Social Security checks and any Social Security documentation that would come for the parents to take care of it. Now, did he do it for a week? No. For a month? No. For 1 year? Did he collect all his Social Security money for 1 year? Yes, he did. 2 years? Yes, he did. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 years he collected their Social Security money. 8 years. Eventually, Social Security thought they better check into this, and they checked. They sent the police over. They found the bodies in the backyard. The neighbors said that the parents were fine. They had no trouble. They were walking every day, went for walks in the neighborhood every day, were completely coherent, showed no signs of Alzheimer's. In fact, the neighbors thought that the parents were alive and living back in Germany because the parents told the neighbors that their son was arranging for them to go back to Germany. And then one day they're not there anymore, the neighbors don't see them, and they assume they're in Germany, but the truth is they're buried in the backyard. On camera, Kraus states, quote, "I did my duty to my parents. My concern for their misery was paramount." The parents, there's no evidence to suggest that the parents were miserable in any way. In the 2-page document, he claims to have invented a private cash device called Pinobo, which is just another crypto scheme. He says it is a cash solution to the danger of central bank digital currencies, crypto. He believes the best law is the law of America, was the New York State's ratification law of 1788. It teaches that people may resume the powers of government whenever it is necessary to their happiness. So if you're unhappy with your life or with your current government, you can take over the power of government. You can form your own government and no longer be held under the current laws of the existing government. Once that happens, and New York State is no longer under federal law or the American Constitution, then it will be governed by a board of trustees, and that will assure self-government, the law, and quality of life. Also, everyone in the state of New York will get a check for $4,000. On the basis of that law, he writes, "I declare the Board of Trustees for New York and one for the federal government. I am the initial trustee of both." So that makes him king of the world. So he believes, like sovereign citizens do, that if they disagree with the government, if it interferes with their pursuit of happiness, they can ignore the government and all of its laws. And he just said that. And he gives the basis for it, the Ratification Act from 1788. And he becomes the initial trustee of both. Also, like a sovereign citizen, he believes that the American government is an offshoot to British law, British control. So he says, "I must note that a domestic enemy is an oath-bound officer," someone who pledges an oath. And you know, sovereign citizens constantly asking, did you pledge an oath? Where is the oath? Did you break your oath? And they're constantly asking if the court is a British Admiralty court, because they believe it is. We're running under maritime law of the British government, thus the fringe around the American flag. So he says the same thing. So I must note that a domestic enemy is an oath-bound officer or official, an official of the court, official of the government, officially recognized. He says we need a board of trustees to save the country and their sovereignty. Now, what's interesting about that is he says the board of trustees is necessary and he will appoint himself to that board, both boards, the state board and the federal board. So that covers it all. He says, unfortunately, Donald Trump said it sounds good, quote, it sounds good for the U.S. to fall under the British Empire. Pure sovereign citizen rhetoric. And also in the document he says, and I've mentioned this, but here's his quote, when the public is in favor of a board of trustees for the right reason of protecting our sovereignty, the board of trustees will pay everyone in support of it $4,000. And he says, I am making myself useful to you for the right reasons. As long as I am innocent until proven guilty, I am fit for this office. And then he goes on to say, if the public does not want a board of trustees, I would like to be prosecuted under German law. He wants to be prosecuted over old German law, not American law, not the U.S. law, but under German law. Is that similar to sovereign citizens? It's similar, yes, in the sense that they do not want to believe that they are responsible or liable for their actions under United States law. When they're in court, they will ask to be tried under common law, an old-fashioned, pre-existing, commonly accepted law, common law, not U.S. law, common law. And in England, they ask for the common law as expressed in the Magna Carta. So he has suggested two ways to get out of the responsibility of having killed both of his parents by his own admission. He says, America needs a board of trustees, and I know what to do. This is why I am the initial trustee. And you can be sure he is not going to be found guilty of murder, because after all, he was doing them a favor. His dad was having eye trouble, supposedly. We don't even know if that's true, but he claims his dad had cataract surgery and was having trouble driving a car. And his mother fell down one day when crossing the street. She wasn't hospitalized, she didn't break bones, she just had a little yellowing on her face, according to him. And that disqualified her from life, according to him. People in that condition don't deserve to live. He was doing them a favor. His sister had died, I believe when he was 14 years old, of cancer. And he claims that as he was killing his father, he was telling his father, go look for your daughter. Go look for her, find her. And he thought everybody would appreciate it. They would appreciate their murder because it would take them out of the misery of not being able to drive a car. Which, if it were true, it would only be temporarily true. Most people you know, either, including yourself, of course, will either have cataract surgery at some point or will have had cataract surgery already. Simple procedure. Anyway, according to the neighbors, the parents were fine. Now, could it be he was trying to help his parents out, get rid of them early? Or did he want that 8 years of those Social Security checks? Because he never said they were dead. He never said they left the country. Not to Social Security. They were sending the checks and direct depositing. No one at Analytical Media believes this 2-page document is a manifesto. We believe it is an attempt as a get out of jail free card. He does not want to be prosecuted for these murders. And he's pretty consistent with that. In the interview, the television interview, he doesn't want to admit he committed the murders. He admits he buried them, but he was trying to hold on to his Fifth Amendment right. Some psychologists, some psychiatrists believe in the notion of good and evil, simply that there is evil in this world, and there are evil people in this world. Could Kraus be that? Could he be simply evil? Much in a way a psychopath is evil. Of course, you'll want to define evil. It's used thousands of times a day by writers, ministers, philosophers, good and evil. Yet there is no adequate definition of either. You'll find that out. Look it up. Nonetheless, people use the term as if it is absolutely real and everybody knows it. And that's kind of true. Are there evil people? People who enjoy hurting other people? People who have no conscience? Never feel bad? That could kill a room full of babies and go have dinner and laugh. Karaoke. You've heard the story. You can read more. You'll see more things to listen to. And you can make up your own mind. Some people want to claim that Kraus is mentally ill. And that's going to be his defense at the trial. At least that's what they believe at this point. Is he mentally ill? Or is he evil? Is this an act of an evil person who killed his parents because they were pain to him? He had to come over and help him sometimes with some things. And he wanted money. He wanted their money. It's hard to determine where else he got money. It's been hard to see. The record's not good. He did work as a window salesman. This genius, this man who claims to have created all these miracle devices, he was a failure at selling windows. Yet he's been able to support himself. Perhaps at some point the parents said, "Nah, we're not going to give you any more money. You should go get a job." Maybe. Maybe they never gave him any money. Maybe he robbed banks. I have no idea where he got his money from. And other people are having trouble finding that out also. We know he had no trouble spending their Social Security checks, his parents, after he killed them. And can we prove he has no conscience? Well, we know he didn't turn himself in the first 6 months or first year or 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 or 6 or 7 or 8. He never turned himself in. He got caught for a financial crime by Social Security. So what do you think? Crazy, mentally ill, delusional, or just a very flawed and evil human being? We are analytical media. We'll cover this. We'll bring you more. Please like the video, subscribe, and pass it along if you think it's entertaining or informative. It's meant to be educational and to bring a deeper insight into things of a psychological nature. This is rather psychological. It does involve murder, but it involves the mindset of the man involved in these murders. Hopefully we've accomplished that, brought you some insights, a deeper look at things. Look for our next video. It should be up soon. Please take care.